Greetings. Welcome to the living room. Karen and Andrea are with me today. With Father's Day just around the corner, today we are focusing on the men. So, ladies, let's hear it for the men.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. The man.
Today we want to consider focusing on the good points about men instead of, always complaining about them. Today we want to highlight their good qualities.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
So many times over the years I've heard, all men are dogs.
We hear that a lot.
Hello. But okay, I'll bring that up later. There's something I want to add to that. However, let's start with the men in our lives, our fathers, our brothers, the men that we, grandfathers, the men that we would have grown up with and still, communicating with and interacting with. Let's hear it for the men.
Andrea.
Okay.
I would pose the first question to you.
Sure.
What moment made you see your father as an adult? What moment made you see him as an adult? We always say that for the woman, your mother is your best friend. What moment your father would have shared with you that would make you see him as an adult, not just dad, but a person who is providing, a person who is taking care of, more than just a dad?
I think that's it just right there where you say he's providing. My dad is always a worker.
Yeah.
He's always working and providing, always, he has a job to do. He comes home, he gives mom the money to do this, to do that, to buy the books, to do this and all of that. And I think from the time I born, I see him doing the adult things. Yeah, and he was just always this person. My dad was always strict. So that alone in itself, okay, he's the man here. This is the big guy, this is the boss. So it was always, given that respect and understanding that this is the man of the house.
Yeah, but it's amazing, because irregardless as to whether or not we see them as dad, for some reason, they are more adults than moms.
So true. So true.
I can't understand why. The respect that they get, the manner in which we speak to them, the playfulness is so much more, than what we would do with mom. Ava, what do you think?
I think for the most part, men are more serious than women. So we've always had, it was always easy to go to mommy because daddy represented strict and serious and all of that.
You think it's a heavy voice?
not all have heavy voice, but I hear what you're saying. My father's voice was mostly in his facial expressions. He just had to look at you and you would straighten up, But he was an excellent provider. He was an excellent. In my adult years, that's one of the things I remember about my father, and it used to make me feel really proud because he was not an educated man per se. From that era, it was. But he did a wonderful job of taking care. He was the only working person in a blended family of 9. Yeah? And he took care of us. Had his own business and all of that. And I every time I talk about him now, I talk about him with pride because I think he did an excellent job. No, he would have told us at one time that the last time he saw a school door or school building, he was 10 years old. Yeah? So what does that say? Some good men out there. And I'm sure my father wasn't the only one.
True.
Yeah, I think our culture has so much to do in the, as it refers to, how men or how we see men. They're bigger than life. They are, yes, they are the providers. Yes, they deserve the respect. Do they sometimes take advantage of that? That may be another story that we would have to tell. But so often it is always you toe the line so much when dad is in charge, you know. So the respect is given. I give us a for example. I was not the perfect child. Yeah.
Which one of us?
Yeah. So for me, growing up, I thank God for the father that I had, because I was disciplined, I was flogged, I was punished to become the person who I am. Did I dislike him at the time? Oh, yeah. But do I now relay those same sort of disciplines to my children or to my child? Yes, I do. So sometimes we have to realize that even though a lot of what the fathers bring to the table is learned behavior, what
Correct.
they teach us,
Yeah,
it's only what they know.
it's what they learned, yeah.
And as
Yeah.
you said that, Ceirid, I agree with that, because my dad was a flogger.
Yeah.
He,
Yeah, no, they don't know what is the meaning of the
Listen to
word
me.
flog. Let's use the right word. We're being
cut
very
my
cultured
tail,
here. Right.
licks,
Yeah.
evermore,
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
and coming for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it is my dad puts this hair,
Yeah.
and he comes back and beat this hair, you're getting licks. Explain why that there, not there.
Yeah.
He used to beat you for everything.
Yeah.
And was I angry all the time? Hell yeah. Was I wishing I had another father? Hell yeah. But guess what? Most of my licks saved me so much in this life, saved me countless ways, that when I sit down to talk to my dad now, because I always felt that growing up, you know, with him always beating me, I always felt like later on in life I would hate him. I will not be close to him, you know, I would distance myself. And my dad is my real boy. He is my go-to guy. You know, he always have stories to tell me. We sit down, we talk. He has me laughing, especially when I go on his little high. You know, he sip on his little something and he just going on and on and on. And I feel like this is not the father I had before, but he's always been the same.
Yeah.
I think if it is were to do life over again, he would be the same person. And I am thankful for my licks. Yeah, I get relics. But I am thankful because it steered me in a particular way. It's like, you're not going to do that because you're going to get licks. So do this instead. So did it kill me? No. It hurt me back then, yes. But I am one of the best child, I think, that came out of all of that licks. I think I'm perfectly fine. It did me well.
Yeah.
Licks did me well.
It takes a lot to admit that. I would like to throw in that a lot of the times, and I'm speaking from personal experience now, a lot of the times, let's stick with the fathers, they love us, but they don't know how to show us.
That's
Yeah?
a fact.
And then you have other factors coming into the whole story, because for years, again, because my father would have flogged me, I thought he didn't love me. And I remember in my teens, I asked my godfather, who was very close to my dad, why daddy don't love me? He said to me, you know, there are some things that just won't leave you. He said to me, it's not that he doesn't love you. It's that every time he sees you, he sees your mother. And they did not have a good relationship. So I was the scapegoat. So many times we don't realize that these are different things that are being, you know, that are contributing to the whole mix. Right? They, from what I understand, they had a stormy relationship. And I'm told that I'm a lot like my mother.
I don't think that's a bad thing, though.
Well, it didn't work for me then. Because, and that was a little bit of comfort for me. It didn't make me feel loved, but I understood. I understand. And sometimes we just need to understand to be able to deal with the people in our life, not just our fathers, to deal with them better. Because there's a lot of things that are being hidden that we don't know about. My father couldn't bring it he couldn't find it in himself to tell me, you look just like your mother, and every time I see you, I get very, you know. He wasn't trained that way. Yeah? So there are a lot of things that we have to take into consideration when we are evaluating our relationships with fathers.
So different situations.
Yes.
Different
There are
situations.
things that we don't know.
Yeah, different situations.
Yeah.
Because I understand my dad he got a lot of licks as well.
You see?
So that was probably all he knew.
Yeah.
That was his way of
What
disciplining.
did you got licks for?
Girl. Girl.
Yeah, we want to hear. We want, just one. Just
Sometimes it was boys. Yes, boys. Like, what you doing talking to that boy? Licks in the tail. And I won't talk to
I would
that
ask
boy.
you if you're still getting licks, but no.
I'm
No,
good
but
now, good now.
you know, my father as a disciplinarian, I got licks because I didn't perform in school. So you know, I kid you not, I tell the story all the time, so it's no secret. I was this child who came second to last in class, repeatedly. So getting a report at the end of a term, I know that cut tail was
Come in.
coming.
It was booked.
I would hide under the bed, under the kitchen table, as if they can't see. Yeah? But I'm saying that because, again, he made me the person who I am. So the licks was evident. That was coming. And because of that, I chose to do different. So Daddy flogged me when he thought, hey, you know, everybody else was going to secondary school and you're not behaving yourself, so you're going to go to convent. Yeah? That didn't help. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that because I'm proud of myself, but look at who I have become today because of my dad. So all the licks that I got, the discipline that I got, I was never locked out of the house. But again, because of him, I am who I am. Yeah?
So it still turns out there's always possible. Most times there's positivity and all of that. So when we look back, we're like hating on our dads, we dislike them, this, that, and the other. But when we really sit down and reflect and think about how they were and how we turn out, it's really a blessing in disguise. We wouldn't have thought of it back then. But now when you think about it, it has been a blessing in disguise.
I think more often than not is because they always want what is better for their kids and may not know how to show it. But hey, I'm flogging you because I know you could do better. I know you could be better, and you're not going to be a replica of me. Yeah?
One of the things that I believe can be taught or should be taught is look for the good. Because, you know, start instilling in especially our teenagers who complain. Now they have every material thing that you could think about. They have all the devices and everything, and they still find something to complain. Dying. Look for the good. There must be something about your dad that is good. Who is the one providing? Who is the one making sure that you have what we used to say a long time, a roof over your head? People take that lightly, but it is very important, yes?
Yeah.
Look for the good.
You know, in these times, I feel sorry for men. Let me tell you why. Because people don't expect men to cry. They don't expect men to be
Men
soft.
have feelings too.
They don't expect men to perform a particular way. And it's even harder on them now because of our expectations of men. And sometimes they need to be cut a little slack. You know, let men be men. Let men learn to love and tell you I love you and tell the kids I love you and be soft and gentle. Because back then men were always rough. And men now, I see it for myself, some men are even softer, especially if they're single dads, single parents. They're even softer, especially if they're raising girls. They're softer, and you know, some people look at them as though you know. But we need men to be who they want to be. And we need to cut them some slack so that they don't think that they have to be these roughnecks all the time. It's okay for a man to be soft. It's okay for a man to cry. It's okay for a man to have feelings and be up in his feelings.
But he has feelings.
They should.
Yes.
So,
It's
you know, it's
expressing
like,
them is what.
you know, some people like you up in your feelings, so I'm to you. But why are we like that to men? Because women could do it. We could cry and go on all how. Why aren't men allowed to? And I think that men should be allowed. Leave them. If they cry, they feel weak, they have vulnerable times, leave them. Because they are humans and they have feelings too.
Andrea, I remember a time, not so long ago, where women were complaining that men are not sensitive. And yet when they show their sensitivity, when they cry, when they express what they would like, oh, you're too soft, and it's gotten to that now. You know,
So
what do we want?
What do we really want?
Hello?
What do we really
Yeah,
want?
but it's what society has taught them.
Society has a big part to play.
So we can continue to have this conversation that it's okay to cry, and I've written a blog on it's okay for men to cry. But society says that you're not allowed to be that person.
To be true to yourself.
You're not allowed to be that person. You're not allowed to be seen as that vulnerable male. Come on, you can tell your friends that you cry? You can tell your friends that your wife beating you?
No, but it's changing now. It's changing. That
And
whole
I'm
landscape
hoping it
is
is.
changing. It's
Yeah.
changing.
Hoping it
It's
is.
changing, yeah.
Yeah. You know, so we have to put a lot of the blame as to who men are based on society,
Who they were taught to be,
who they would,
or what was acceptable.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a deep one.
It is. Totally is.
You have a question?
I do. Let me ask you, what was one of your happiest moments with your dad, and happy moment that you remember with your dad? If I'm coming to you with that question as
ma'am.
well. Besides, you know, all this hiding under the chair, under the bed, you know, under the table from licks. Do you remember any happy times you would have had with your dad?
So I'll start by saying my dad has passed. Yeah, he's 30 odd years ago. It really caught me off guard because, and understand me, I didn't see Daddy as being a happy place. Not that he did not bring happiness, but if you ask me that about my mom, I could answer. If I am to share with you the most intimate moment I've ever had with my dad, would have been the day before he passed. Yeah, and I wouldn't say the age, but it was the greatest connection we had at that time. It was the first time he asked something of me, and I was able to deliver.
Wow.
Yeah, and while delivering, he passed. So that was the first real, oh my God,
Yeah.
you see me, you want something from me, you. Was it a happy moment? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But it's one that I would always remember. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. If I'm coming to you with that same question,
Come again.
what was one of the most happiest times you've ever had with your father? What memory you have
I'm
of your dad that
listening.
makes you happy?
I'm listening to Ceirid, and it brought the situation that I'm about to share to mind immediately, because it was not necessarily a happy time. I was hospitalized was very serious, and my father showed up at the hospital. That to me meant that he loved me. The fact that he showed up, but more so is the fact that he stood by the bedside, and I saw tears coming down his eye. I didn't know my father was capable of crying, you know. So that memory has a special place in my heart.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So you asked a
Wow.
question, answer it as well.
Oh, well, mine is a very weird one because my dad never used to really take us out and all of that. Once in a blue moon, he will take us to, you know, Port of Spain when the promenade was the promenade back then. And there was this, it wasn't KFC, it was this old place that used to do chicken back then.
Sunday
I
basket.
can't. Sunday basket.
You're welcome.
Sunday basket. I thank you. Sunday basket. And I remember this one time we wanted to go out, but we were so afraid of our dad. We didn't know how to ask him, Dad, could you take us out tonight? It was a Friday night. We didn't know how to ask. And I came up with this plan. Now, he has a sister in New York who he loves dearly. And whenever she sends him a letter, he would get really excited. So I went inside and drafted up this letter and I said, Dad, could you take us out, please? And in the envelope, this was the letter, and inside the envelope, I addressed it to David. His name and like it from Auntie Jude, and he opened it. And I was like, my sister, my brother behind me like,
You were the ringleader.
yeah, I was always the ringleader. And he opened it, and I was so surprised that he opened it and he started to smile. And I was like, okay, this is a good sign. I hope that smile don't get serious. And we there cowering behind the curtain, just peeping at him. It's like, and then he was like, so you all want to go out?
It worked?
It really worked. We had our ball. We sat around the chair and put his spin there. And he went over across. He got the Sunday basket. And he was like, anybody want doubles? Listen, that's when the promenade was really nice. And that is one of my happiest moments. I remember, I mean, it may not be a happy moment, but it really was for me, just seeing him smiling.
Do you think he ever
because
suspected?
he got tricked.
Do you think he ever suspected?
Of course he knew it was, because inside it had their dad.
Oh,
you take us out,
you
please.
gave it away.
Your daughter Andrea.
You gave it away.
But who it came from wasn't the truth. But inside it, so that's one of my. It seems weird.
And what does that say to you? It says to me that Dad has a heart. Why, a lot of times we think that men are heartless. Dad had a heart. He wanted to make his children happy.
Communication.
Yeah.
That was a problem he had, and I think we had as well, because we were too afraid to approach him about anything, and he wasn't the type of person that will talk to us, on a, more as was always a, and then you get licks and that kind of thing. Yeah, it was always a bark. So just seeing him smile, it was like it was really weird, but it was a happy moment. And my sister, they behind me, like, we get to go, let's go. And he was like, you all go and get ready. So it was nice, but communication, even up until today, is an issue between fathers and children, and that's the next thing we need to touch. Communication it's poor, and there are some persons who are able to communicate with their fathers and teaching them that, but there are some fathers who just stuck in their ways, their stubborn ways. They prefer to be in a corner by themselves, smoke a little cigarette, drink a little tea, drink a little rum, or whatever.
Is that what you meant?
But they just prefer to isolate themselves and just be and have all their thoughts in their head or whatever, but they don't share those thoughts. You don't know what they're thinking. And then, like me, I was too coward to approach my father. I was so coward, I had to write him a note as opposed to approach and saying, Daddy, could you take us out? It was so easier to do that than here if I go and ask and he barks at me. So, communication is so important in these times, back then and now. And if fathers could just open up and just have conversations.
Let me ask you this question. What has fatherhood taught you about yourself? What do you know not to do?
That taught me.
You spoke about how important communication is.
Let me tell you one thing my father always used to say. Always.
Don't forget to turn your back when you're walking in the door.
Interesting.
So these are things that I learned from my dad, and he's always my dad is Vincentian. They always have these stories, the ghosts he saw and this and that. Those are the things I could tell you about my dad. To say I learned anything from him, it will be along those lines, which I don't really take on now. I still turn my back though, but it's that has stuck with me, turning my back when. And it's like, who's even following me inside? What? But I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
I'm quarreling with
Yeah.
myself, but I'm
Yeah.
still
Become a
doing
habit.
it. Habit. But
Yeah.
to say I've learned anything from my dad, I can't say because it was always so serious. It's like, I really can't
I
say.
think for me it's visibility, and not just being present, but being actively present. Yeah, not just bringing home the goods, not just providing, but caring while you provide. So the groceries I bought, you all can put it away, and I know it's your money that's spent, but does that spell love?
Yeah, just
Does
being a
that-
provider.
Yes.
That's
so
all.
so
Yeah.
for me, having experienced that while he was alive, I know what not to do. I know how important it is to communicate
Yeah.
with my children,
Yeah.
to show love, and not in terms of monetary gain, but in terms of emotions. That is what I would have learned from my dad. Yeah.
I get you.
yeah,
Now you make me remember what I learned.
Yeah,
I just
okay.
realized what I learned. I learned to tell my daughter I love you all the time because I did not grow up with my dad telling me. I've never heard my dad tell me I love you when I was growing up. As a child,
I can relate.
becoming an
I can
adult,
relate to that.
I never heard him say it. It's only started because I started telling him. So, and also my mom, I've never heard I love you growing up from them. It's only I started it, and now it's a normal thing between us
because they
whenever we have
didn't get it.
conversations. I love you and that kind of thing. But it
but
wasn't
that's
a...
They most
interesting,
likely
they
didn't
don't
get it
say
coming
it.
up.
They
No, they
never
didn't
used to
get
say
it.
Say
Yeah,
They didn't
and,
get
and
it.
I believe they never knew it either
never
because
knew
their
it.
parents didn't say to them
Exactly.
either. And I just wanted to break that. So now my daughter, and I'm always telling my daughter I love her. She always tells me she loves me. At the end of a conversation, it's always I love you. I know when she's upset, she doesn't say it. Yeah.
I remember I would have been about 8 years old, and I was an avid reader. So in the books you would read, the parents are telling the children I love you. So I said, okay, one day I'm gonna try that. I love you, Daddy. Me too. I was like, yeah. That was his response. Me too. So you love yourself then, okay. But one of the things that in my early teens, I was literally afraid of him. I don't think I was afraid of him as much as I was afraid of licks. So some of the villagers were afraid of him as well. And he had this thing, he did not want the boys in the village talking to his girl children. So they were afraid of him. And I used to say, maybe his bark is worse than his bite. And I have a dear friend from high school, we are still friends today. She was not, I call her JD, she was not afraid of my father. She would go up to him and sashay and talk to him like they're friends from a long time. So his bark was worse than his bite. And that's something that we could look at, because a lot of the time we are afraid of people. And it's just that they have a very rough way of speaking or acting,
Just being afraid, yeah.
just being afraid. And I eventually found out that and realized that my father loved me. Yeah, we had a good laugh later on. Yes.
All right, so to all the fathers, all the men who are being fathers, being fatherly, doing your thing, we just want to big you up. We see you, we love you, we appreciate you. Oh, we love you, we love you. I just want to say that again. Let's hear it for the men.
Let's hear it for the men.
You all are doing an amazing job. Continue, keep it up.
Thanks for staying with us. See you on the next episode of In the Living Room.
At Orange Grove Memorial Gardens, we offer families a dignified and lasting way to honor their loved ones through our beautifully constructed crypt spaces. Here's how it works. Each crypt is carefully sealed, ensuring long-term preservation while still allowing families to visit, and place flowers in a serene landscaped environment. Orange Grove Memorial Gardens, where legacy and love are honored with dignity.